Hello everybody, welcome to the R44 workshop. Today we've got our Sandy G80 M3. This is our shop car. Obviously we've been doing endless development on it. So today is the day we fit and show you guys how to fit. So this video is mainly for customers purchasing the exhaust and want to know how to fit it either at home or at their local garage. Just kind of a how-to video just to make it a lot easier. It's a very simple system to fit, but it does take some time. So what we'll do is we'll talk you through the comparison of our system. Our system is a full titanium build, which is a catback system. So it goes from the primary cats, just after those, where the brackets are, connects up all the way back to the back of the car. So we'll show you through a stock system and our system. But yeah, that's what we're gonna do today. We're gonna strip off our stock system, which is we've already done, and then we're gonna show you that now. So let's go over here, Dylan. Let's start from the top. So obviously this is our system, full titanium build. Compare it to this is the stock system. So these are the secondary cats. So again, for emissions mostly, bracketry, we've kind of just done the same. Obviously, because we haven't got the secondary cats, we can bracket straight off from this point, which is cool. Then coming on, these are OPF filters. So for European cars, they have OPF filters due to regulations. Compared to the US market and a few other markets, you guys don't have these. You guys just go secondary cats straight into the resonator. So yeah, we've removed them. And a key thing when you're removing the OPFs, you need to make sure, just for the readings for the ECU, we've got a really cool system, which is a plug for the EU market. You plug these in, we'll show you in the video, up and behind the heat shield, and this provides a reading to the ECU that the OPFs are in place. But it's only possible if you have these connections, so you can get all the pressures still showing. So again, yeah, we've got exactly the same pieces, which we've got machined up. Coming through, no OPFs, so pipe work. We've got some lovely bracketry. This prevents any kind of parts clapping of such, so we found that in development. We've got a little cross pipe here just to refine the noise. So instead of a resonator this size, we've gone to 2 bullets through here, which kind of removes any drone, which is quite nice. Coming on, we've also got the standard brackets, again, all welded in the same position. And then coming on to the back of the exhaust, and this is the main kind of difference, well, a huge difference, is obviously look at the size of that back box. The gases obviously go in, so we do, this system's valves, so when you do open the valves, the system's loud. It does sound really good compared to when it's closed. It resonates really nicely and is great for daily driving. So it comes through there, gases normally, valves close, the gases are pushed through here, resonates through and gives you a quiet noise, whereas this is the same. So the gases come through, hit the valve, return into the back box, resonates and goes back out. Second this opens, gases flow through and out the side. So pretty much, almost, when the valves are open, straight, apart from the 2 resonators there. So it gives a good note, but the best thing about it, which I love, because I use my car most days of the week, it's really nice just to close the valves on the way to work and just relax. And then when you're out with your friends, you can open the valves up, put it in sport mode and really enjoy it. So yeah, comparing, and then tip-wise, we've gone for a carbon fiber tip, like that. Very similar size to the stock tips, because BMW have done a really good job on this car. They've given us a really good size tip compared to the previous generation. They're small tips. So we've gone for a similar kind of size, but obviously carbon, stainless steel on the inside, which is a nice little detail. So yeah, we're gonna get the car up in the air now and just start working our way back. Key things are, we're gonna use exhaust paste on all the joints, prevent any kind of blowing. It's just a great way to just prevent any issues. And we just like to fit one thing once and not again. That's it. There's nothing really in particular that we take in, apart from fitting these for the EU kind of spec cars. A little bit longer, but it's not too bad. So guys, enjoy, and we'll catch you in a minute. Hello everybody, quick one. We've had a bit of technical issue with formatting of the content of the actual install of this system. So what I'm going to do is walk you through a load of different steps to how to correctly assemble the system. Once we get another system that's free and we don't have to fill it to a customer, we will put it back onto our car and show you those processes again. So now I'm going to show you how to remove the standard exhaust. Obviously I'm referencing to our titanium system that's on the car, but I'm going to highlight the areas that you need to unfix to drop the stock exhaust off. And then you'll see, like the start of this video, the stock exhaust is on the floor. And then I'll go through the steps of assembly all the way through from the start of the car to the back, and then we'll overlay some of the content that we do have. So yeah, let's jump underneath the car. So the first step is to remove the brace. The brace is just a consistency of about 6 fixings along here and here. Just drop that down, put it to the side. You'll be reusing the same brace because we've built the system to use the original brace. Again, when you're fitting, just make sure there's enough space around. So yeah, we'll strip that off. We're then gonna come over to here. I'm not sure if you can see that, Dylan, but we're gonna remove these hoses for the OPF filters. US spec cars, you won't have these, so don't worry about anything. Anything that we reference, I'll say OPF first, just ignore it. OPF for us in Europe. So again, we've got one OPF there. There's another one further down, so just remove that. Then you're coming over here and remove this bracket just here. So what I always do is remove the light brackets first and then remove everything that's easy and then leave some big brackets for the last bit and then put your jack under and then you can bring it down. So remove here. I would also remove this last one here. Cool. So now we're going to come to the back of the car. There's 2 brackets here. Remove this one. I always remove the bracket from the top. Instead of trying to wiggle this off, it's just not going to work. Remove that, and then when you come to take this off, just put a bit of, maybe a light bit of oil or grease, and that'll just slip off and slip back on, and then just dry it out after. Again, exactly same on the other side. Right, so we've now got most of the fixing points apart from the downpipes at the front and the 2 brackets on the rear. Just before you move anything else, remove your valve connections to the cables that are here. I've got mine tucked away because we're just doing some valve development. So again, yeah, just unclip those simply just out like that and then leave it hanging. So yeah, once you've done that, both sides, again, the same here. And then we'll go away. Cool. The last bits on the front of the exhaust are the 4 bolts that hold the downpipes, the cap back to the downpipe. So there's one on either side, and then one here, and then one here. So loosen this off. This system will stay in place because they are lug nuts on the back of the downpipe pieces. We now want to go to the back of the system, put a jack underneath the back box, and loosen off the last brackets. Okay, so now we've got our jack behind the back box. So we can now, when we release the pressure from the 2 mounts on either side, this will take the weight, and then we can get someone to jump on where the downpipes are and drop the system. So the last 2 hangers are here and the other side. Just make sure, again, I would remove the bolts, not the rubbers at the moment, and we'll do that. So again, you now got that loose, loosen these off, drop it down onto your stand, and then slowly release this down, it'll drop, and then have someone on the other end pulling the system down. Cool, we'll now go on to the assembly. Okay everybody, we're now, for the European cars, we're gonna locate where the OPF delete cables are installed. So, for example, this exhaust would now be on the floor, the vacuum will be off. You need to remove this heat shield right here. So these are the 2 vacuums that you need to remove. So the heat shield is held on with a range of, I think it's metal, plastic nuts of such, and then some fixings. So just take them off. So there's one there, for example, Dylan, you can see that. And then some along here, which I think these are 10 on this car. So then once that's dropped off, we'll overlay some of the kind of skeleton removal and then the plug assembly in a minute. So that's that. Put that back together, put it back up into the car, heat shield back on. The key things with OPF, you've got to have these vacuums connected. If you have the ISTA system, I would highly recommend regenerating the OPFs after the install. So once you're happy, you run it up, you run it for a minute, get into ISTA and regenerate the OPF filters. This way, it's a 0 reading of such, and it will stay that way with the deletes. If you get any warning lights, let us know, but we have been running them on a lot of cars. We've done about 10,000 miles on our car with no issues. All right, so now we'll talk through the assembly. So we're now gonna act like we're reassembling the exhaust. So the first pipe we always install is this side. It'll be on the floor. This pipe ends over here. So what we do is we line this onto the studs from the downpipe. This way it's kind of loosely fitted. Make sure there's gaskets in here. Obviously, we always change them when they're in the workshop. If you need any gaskets, drop us an email, we can sort them out. But yeah, you can change the gaskets, or if it's preferred, you reuse yours if it's a low mileage or whatever. So fit that in there. I would then make sure when the exhaust is down, swap over your hanger and your rubber, connect this up and lightly fix that in, right? That's a key thing, just to make sure that's fixed in. That way this pipe will kind of stay there. I don't lock anything in, I leave this kind of loose so I can move things around. Then I would go onto this one. Again, you can install this one onto the studs and then onto this hanger. That way this assembly is now up in the car and will not fall down. Moving on. So we're now here. The first step I always do, I lay all my clamps down, find out the sizes, where they're paired up, and where they go on the system. So it's a case I always, with all the exhaust systems we fit, I just kind of slide them on, understand this side, let's say it's an 80 or whatever, size it up, make sure you know. This pipework is a full one assembly. So it'll go from this area all the way back until here as one assembly. So what I would do, slip your clamps onto the system, lift it up, and then put these pipes in. I use a bit of exhaust paste in there just to make sure you don't get any leaks. So that's a key thing. Put it in there, that's all dry. You will be able, this will now hang loose. Two options, what we do, we either put our jack underneath, hold it up, or you could put this bin with a bit of foam between so it doesn't wear it, doesn't scratch it. We're now going to move on to the rear of the car. So what we've done, we put this in place to brace this part of the exhaust. We're now moving on to this assembly. This is a small section, so it goes from here to there. Swap your hangers over, put them on, and then just make sure you have the correct clamp, slide it on first, put it onto the pipe, and then just lightly tighten this. So everything's loose. I leave everything kind of loose for the minute. Again, do the same on the opposite side, right? Now going on to the back box. There's a connection here, so make sure you have the right hanger clamps. These will be your last two. What we do is I'll move my jack and I will load the back box onto the jack. I'll jack it up into the car and put the two hangers in here, Dylan. If you come around here, we can see this. Again, swap them over, lift the back box into place. At the same time, you're trying to line this hanger up onto the stud as well as lining the pipe work into this. Right, so now you will have the complete assembly of such, and it's all dry fitted. All right, so now it's hung there, it's on all the hangers, and it's just lightly fitted. Now I would go back to the beginning of the car, and you want to just keep playing with adjustment and work your way through. So tighten all the hangers up to start off with, the pipes are in their position, bring them through, tighten up the first clamps, then in through to the back, tighten up these clamps, turn up these, keep wiggling the system. You can, within this area, if you look here, our system, we've got, no vibrations or anything. When you move it, right, you've got nothing. So it is possible, there's loads of room, both sides to get your hands, and there's loads of space on the back side. If you need to, just slightly move the heat shield up if you feel like you're struggling to get it to line up. But play around with this area, you can tweak the system to sit properly. So into here, tighten these up, work your way back through, and the final steps is, you aim to have it all completed. We're now on to the valves. So the valves, remove these from your stock. Our system always utilizes the standard valve system. You will need these little valve springs. These will be in the box, normally with the clamps. Simply just pop them on, pop the spring in, make sure it's aligned, tighten these up, and then connect your valves. Ours are really loose because we've always been playing around with valves in different locations, fun like that. So again, connect your valves up, and the final step is the tips. Again, the tips, simply just slide on and clamped. This brace is in this, the same position. A lot of companies, they come out the back box, there's clamps here and you're always playing around, but we try to make it as simple as possible. And then simply, clamp your tips up in the correct location, and it is done. Start it up on the top of the ramp. Make sure you look for any gases, run it up and down the road. Get it some heat into it, let it cool down, and then test it again before it leaves the workshop, just to make sure it's perfect. But you guys, thanks again. Sorry about us having to do it on a system, but second we have a system in stock that's going spare, we will fit it onto our car and go from there. I appreciate it, take care. Hey everybody, the car's now dropped on the ground. It sounds amazing. With the titanium system, just gives it a really rich tone, which is really nice. We obviously had it started up to do an elite test. So once it's all built up, the key thing to do while it's still up in the air, run it up, run it for a little while, just so any of the paste can bed in a little bit. Give it some revs, get some gases flowing through, and then you can see if there's any blows. But what we normally do is take it for a run, get some heat into the exhaust, let it expand, let it retract, and then just do a quick leak test again, just to make sure, because when a car leaves here, we don't want to see it back, as much as we love having them here. So this is now done. We're gonna go take it into London. We're gonna go collect a friend of ours, M4, so we'll use that, and then we'll be back on the ramp this afternoon, check it. We'll go get some content of flybys and all of that, but yeah, sounds really good, nice pops and cracks. Guys, enjoy your exhaust, and if you want one, just drop us an email or a call. More than happy to help out, or just check out the website. Take care.